Hey everyone, and welcome to the kickoff of the Women of Woo showcase. If you're watching the replay, you get to watch this part at the beginning. Say hello below. There's a whole series of us, all my sisters. I am a Woman of Woo. I'm Dr. Alexis Edwards. I was with Jasmine in the first round of Women of Woo. Hi, Kat. You're here. Good. I'm in the right place, right? Where we're in Women of Woo. Let's go ahead and see. We can invite people. I'm in the right spot, I think. Hi, Sophia. I'm in the right spot, right, everybody? all my all my people are in here, so I can't tell. All right. Okay, good. Thanks. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Barbara. Hello. I think I said hi to Sophia. Hi, Rachel. So I'm actually going to get right started. So hello and welcome to the Women of Woo showcase. And I'm so excited to do this. I love doing this every time. It's so much fun. Hi, Visa. How's everybody doing today? Happy Monday. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Alexis Edwards. I'm a doctor of Oriental Medicine. I'm a multidimensional healer, a spiritual mentor, and the founder of the Expansion Principle, which is a channeled energy healing modality. So we're going to talk a little bit about that towards the end. But to start, hi Amanda, hi Kim. I wanted to talk about stepping into our role as healer. And so there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of thoughts behind healer. I actually, in one of my courses, we just really dove deep into that and the archetype of it, but also the matrix of it, meaning the energetic container that holds everything about that word. So there's some people who don't really like the word. There's people who do like the word. But regardless, it is what it is, right? It's a facilitation of healing, right? But it also denotes having skill, etc., etc. And so when I'm talking about stepping into our healer, what I'm talking about is there's a lot of us at this time, this moment in humanity that carry the signature for healer. So for me, it's different than an archetype. So an archetype doesn't require for us to step into it. An archetype is a blueprint of information. And, a signature has more potency to me than that. Hi, Nicole. Nice to see you. Hi, Krista. And so a lot of us carry the signature. And the big difference with that is that we carry the signature because we have embodied that before. We have been that before, whether it's, previous lifetimes, or we carry that within our genetics, our ancestry, right? And this is really important because it doesn't mean that we're all going to hang a shingle and say, hi, I'm a healer, right? Some of us do, and that's wonderful, and it's amazing, and we should expand upon that and learn and grow, etc. But then there's those of us who feel that calling in our heart. We kind of identify that way, but we're like, I don't want to put a shingle. I want to go do this or that or the other. And so part of that is really like we get to do both, right? We get to view that, doing tarot is healing. We get to view that, coaching is healing, business coaching, soul coaching, whatever it is, that can be really healing. And so part of stepping into that is really stopping for a moment and realizing, hang on, I'm really here. What I'm doing, what I'm actually facilitating is growth, but it's also healing, right? We're also going, and to me, the difference between the two, they're definitely married to each other, but healing is necessary for growth, for truly blossoming expansion. Healing has to occur. And so the healing piece is about the past, right? It's about what's been, so that we can pave a better way and create a greater foundation for stepping into the future. And you'll hear me say this several times throughout, because when I was preparing for this is what came through, that it is very much about the time that we're in, and that we're all being activated to, most of us that are on this call, all of us that are in this group and attracted to Jasmine, it's because we don't just want to be entrepreneurs. A big part of the push to entrepreneurship is reach, and it's mission focused, and it's allowing for what we're here on earth to do, to be able to disseminate to the masses as much as possible, to have those trickle effects. And so regardless of what we want our platform to be, and the level of reach that we want to have, some people want to do one-to-one, and that's awesome, and some people want to do one-to-many, which is also amazing. But regardless of that, we're at a time where wherever we fall in that, we're being activated to do that now. And so for those of us that carry that signature of healer, part of this whole talk is to activate you to say, yes, own that, connect with that. And then the next level is really seeing, like, how can I deepen that, right? How can I be conscious, bring consciousness of the fact that this is healing? And certainly the work that Jasmine does is very healing, right? And so, and a lot of you, I know what many of you do, and it's allowing for that conscious piece, so we can step in, and it's not really, in the beginning, you don't so much have to change what it is you're doing. It's more about yourself. It's more about embodiment. I find words to be incredibly powerful, and in the beginning of understanding ourselves and moving forward in our view of the world, and moving forward in our platform and our mission, etc., owning those words are really important. And at a certain period of time, we can release the words, but in the beginning we need to own that. That's really important. And I think sometimes people bypass that and are like, why don't I identify as healer, because people are doing their own healing? It's like, hang on a second. But it's really important to have that balance of what you're doing is valuable. And if a person was able to heal on their own up until this point, until they met you and you helped facilitate something, they would have done that. There's this marriage of energies that's really important. We came from from collectedness, from this oneness, from all being the same thing, to being individuated, being individual into pieces, right, of people, of this thoughts and spark and all of that. And there's a reason for it, and it's because the combinations of energies have an impact, right? When we come together in this individuated piece, it's super amazing, and we get so much out of that, right? And so I think it's important to not discount what our meldings together do, which really, when we work with a healer or work with some kind of facilitator or coach or whatever, it's really a melding of energies, right? The other thing I really wanted to talk about in terms of stepping into that healer role is really realizing what we're doing is alchemy. And now I want to talk a little bit more about the expansion principle. And the expansion principle is an energy healing modality that's kind of unique in modalities, right? And so when it first started coming through for me, it was really a relationship with a non-physical energy, a being who has consciousness. And I was at that point in my life, I was very much, I'm going to have healing centers. I'm a doctor of oriental medicine. And so I have an acupuncture practice and all that. And in person, I see people in person. You put needles and give people herbs in person, right? And I thought, I'll just have this big, amazing family center, and maybe we'll have more than one center, and it'll be really awesome, blah, 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 right? Really cool stuff. That's amazing reach. And then I started channeling this energy and having this relationship. And so I started using the energy with my clients in practice. And it was really, I do a lot of spiritual work. And so, which for a lot of people refer to that as shamanic work. And I don't, for a lot of reasons, but that's another live stream. But we're talking about interfacing with the other, interfacing with other worlds, etc., like world crossing, world walking, dimensional walking. But anyway, that work was a lot easier. I wasn't needing to do things and facilitate things at the depth. It was just healing like that. And so we would identify something, and just with the energy itself, it would just heal it from the beginning, from the inception, from the origination. And so that's the thing about healing. There's lots of different layers. Are we healing? When we heal this lifetime, it is important because we're consciously aware of this lifetime. But a lot of times the things that we experience in this lifetime, they were available for us because we carry a signature, we carry a magnet for that experience. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So while we create our reality, we're really co-creating it. So there's the consciousness. That's why it's so important to be conscious, because there's so much spiritual soup. There's so much data that we carry that we're not aware of, that if we don't heal it, it's just like, and what we want doesn't matter because all this stuff is like randomly like activated, if that makes sense. So the expansion principle was healing these things at the root, and just, it was really crazy and amazing. And I did that for a while, and it was sort of doing what something called expansion principle will do, which is expand. And it was expanding and expanding, as I was too. And I could feel my focus and my mission was expanding. And I didn't really know what that meant until I was told there's going to be a modality. So a lot of I didn't even know that having a modality was a thing. And then I come into the online space and everybody has a modality. So this modality is not just a way of Alexis doing things. This isn't just, my thing. This isn't just from my soul signature. This isn't just, my methodology. Okay. This is an energy signature that we're channeling, that when we match to it, it helps us heal and upgrade our consciousness, upgrade ourselves. When we're talking about, for those of you aware and know what I'm talking about, some people talk about crystalline and how we're becoming crystalline. And so for me, what that means, not that our bones are literally going to become like crystals, but what do crystals do, right? They hold and encode consciousness at a deeper level, the level of which they're like a living Akashic record. Like the access that they have and the way they can store and be, I don't want to say programmed, because that's not the way in which I want to go, the direction I want to go, but they can hold all this data, and that's more of what we're becoming, and that's more of what we're having access to in becoming crystalline, if that makes sense. And so that's a big part of what the expansion principle does in sessions with people, which is amazing. But about a year ago, I started attuning people, attuning practitioners, and so we're moving into our 5th round in July of expansion principle practitioner training. And what I started noticing is that practitioners, it was an even greater up level and an even greater capacity change. That's really what a lot of this is about, is that in order to do the work that we're doing at the continued levels that is required to change the course of humanity, to change the course of our planet, is that we have to increase our capacity for knowledge and understanding. And there's so much that as human beings we don't have the capacity at the moment to understand. So then most people think it's not real because we can't understand it. Now that doesn't really make sense when you stop and think about it. And if you look historically at science, things weren't true until they were proven. Does that make them not true prior to being proven? No, of course, they were always real, right? I always think of germ theory. So before we had microscopes, viruses and bacteria and all that were wreaking havoc. Like that would kill populations of people and towns and cities and all over the place. But we didn't know what it was. And so does that make that any less real? No, it still was a germ or a virus. We just didn't know about it. So we're talking about all these things, and I hope this is all making sense to everyone. But really, what this is about is expanding our consciousness, expanding our physical capacity. And that's really important to understand, because our physical bodies are the conduit, right, by which we have our spiritual experiences. And so we can, connect and do all of these things, and, the yoga and the this and the all of these things, and it's understanding and connecting and wanting to meditate and wanting to whatever it is, right? Understanding that this ascension, this up levels, this whatever words you want to use, is happening through this physical form, this physical body form that wasn't made to handle that level of energy. And some of you know what I'm talking about because you have the physical experience and you have the spiritual experiences that are odd, that are beyond what people normally talk about. Hi, welcome to my world. And our bodies need to be taken care of for sure, but also like that expansion, that ability to, like that crystalline that we're talking about, allowing the body, allowing the cells. And the more that you clear, the more that you heal the original material. I hope that makes sense too. But that's what we're talking about with the expansion principles. You're healing the root and the core. And as you're healing that material, you're making more space, right? And as you're making more space, it allows for more flow and all of that kind of amazing stuff. And it really helps facilitate your mission, whatever that is. And so, like I said, we're in July, the 5th round. So anybody who's interested in that, the expansion principle practitioner training starts in July, which is really amazing. And it's created to be, I originally thought that it could be for anybody. Like, it's definitely for beginners, but I thought it would be fine. I mean, people who are more advanced level could do this as well. And then I quickly started to realize that, hi Jasmine, that the original expansion principle practitioner training is really made for beginners. It's made for people who have either have no energy experience or minimal. I think our first round didn't have anybody who had done anything with energy before, and the second one had several Reiki masters and things like that were attracted to it. All of which said that the first attunement of expansion principle had a greater potency and vibrational strength, in their opinion, than even the Reiki master. So that was kind of interesting, right? It's just a different signature. It's not about one energy being greater than the other. Everybody have its purpose, right? So with all of that, that still exists and that's available. Yes, Nicole, she says me. Nicole is one of our, she's in training now. And so that's still available and that's still possible, but it became really evident about 8 months ago, and it kept nagging and nagging and nagging and nagging. I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. And so the Expansion Powerhouse was born, and the Expansion Powerhouse is the first time I'm offering level 2, but it's going to be level 1 and level 2 attunements together. So attunements is matching. For those of you who are interested in this, you know what I mean. The Expansion Powerhouse is intended for people who have some kind of understanding already, who have some kind of practice already, who are practitioners in one way or another. So whether or not you've learned any kind of structured modality before, you're interfacing with the other, you're interfacing with the quantum realms, or you have these kind of experiences already, okay? And so this is really for those people, and it became really evident that those kinds of people need to start to be attuned to expansion principle, that we needed to reach that audience, because that's where it's going to start to disseminate more and more. And you're the ones that are already have increased your capacity. You're the ones who already have, you know your powerhouses, your reach, all of that. And so what if we could continue to increase your capacity within your physical body? What if we could increase the capacity of your neurological system to be able to handle what is coming through, and the mission and all of this stuff? And so the expansion principle at this level, at the expansion powerhouse level, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do treatments with it. It doesn't mean you're going to do sessions with it. You could integrate it into what you're doing, but it could be that this is really for you, and it's for your growth. It's like a multi-pronged thing. It's for personal growth, but it's also for business growth. I think it gets to the point when you're a spiritual entrepreneur and you're doing things at that kind of level, all of it starts to meld together. The things you do for your personal self is also for your business self, and the things you do for your business self are also for your personal self, because it all starts up level. Hey, Megan. So does anybody have questions? We talked about a lot of things. I'd love to take some questions, and if not, we'll probably do a transmission. I'm going to check my time. know how much I talked about it, but something that I was thinking about in the car, I was dropping my son off and then came here, was this concept of alchemy. And this concept, what alchemy, you know, what we think about is that alchemy was, you know, people trying to make from lead to gold. And I actually think that whole thing was sort of created to detract us from what true alchemy is. And what true alchemy is taking the human condition, taking a condition in which we are biologically wired for fear. Fear keeps us safe, period. Biologically speaking, having a fear response, right? Being available for that, noticing things that make us afraid, help our body keep us safe. So what I mean by that is the actual endocrine system, our actual biology is created. Like if you know, some kind of creature was going to come get us, like a physical animal was going to come get us, we could go away. We needed to be able to have that. And so now we've sort of outgrown that need, and we're still responding like the great big bear is coming to get us, and it's not a bear. It's going on a live and talking to people. It is going out and hosting a class. It's going out and doing whatever thing it is that we want to do. And so it's really important to understand the biological nature of growth and expansion and that fear thing, right? And so alchemy is about changing and altering that human condition. It doesn't mean that you don't feel afraid anymore. It's that we're no longer triggered. There's like an interceptor in between that fear response. Now, if you actually physically had something occur to you, you would still respond in the way you're supposed to. But what happens is that you have a greater filter system, and you're able to see, okay, I don't need to have this whole endocrine response to going and doing a live video or going and hosting a class or whatever it is, right? You're able to put what actually needs to be responded that way, such as maybe you're walking around and you get a not so good feeling about somebody that's walking near you, and being alert and aware and maybe making decisions. That's still going to happen. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? Not these other things that actually aren't putting us in physical harm. And so alchemizing that human condition, when that starts to happen, we have more clarity of what actually will cause us harm and what will not. And part of that, I think, is understanding not fearing the other as much. And other is so huge. And, you know, for me, in my personal experience, other is going to be more than people, right? Other is, and a lot of us here, other is going to mean, you know, spiritual and non-physical data, information, beings, etc., etc. This isn't about that, but, you know, all of that is important, especially if you're having those kinds of experiences, especially if you are involved with the quantum realms and like realm walking and all of this kind of stuff. But really, on a human on this planet level, being able to alchemize the human condition, it helps us be more in compassion and love. So we don't have to be afraid of the other, because as a human being, physical human being, what is other? Anyone who doesn't look like you, anybody who doesn't think like you, right? And so that's part of what needs to change, because that's why our planet is the hot mess that it is. And human beings are the hot mess that we are, because there's that otherness, because of that fear response, and that need to alchemize that is absolutely present. And we're in a time where we have to do it. We have to be really clear. And when we alchemize fear, it changes the whole game. It absolutely does. So that's the last part of what I wanted to say, because I think that that's important for everyone to understand. And even having, you know, like sessions working with all of my practitioners. I have one who's almost done, but most of them are doing their certification process to get their EP certification. And so you can work with them, you can work with me. Having EP treatments is really cool. And it's always unique, and it's so much fun to see how each of them navigates it and presents it to the world. It's unique. A lot of modalities, they have a structured way of doing this, and there's some structure, but there's a lot of integration that occurs. Hey Jenny, hi Lisa, hi Sarah, and Esme. Okay, let's see. I saw a question somewhere. Oh, that's awesome. Nicole is saying, what might be some examples of how to incorporate EP into your biz if you're not a healer? Perfect. So I would say part of what's happening is that EP is changing and alchemizing you, right? So if it's changing and alchemizing you, that right there is a great way to integrate, because you're able to come from a different place. You have more space within your consciousness to have like greater ideas, and just your consciousness is changing. So we don't know what we don't know. And so it allows for this expansion to look at things in ways that you currently can't look at. So I would definitely say that that's part of it. And then, you know, I have multiple things trying to come out of my mouth at once. We can only have one sentence at a time because we're human. Okay, let's try again. I'm really big on being clear about ethics and all that, those kinds of things. So I don't like to send energy unless people give permission, yada, 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 all of that when it's specific, right? But in a non-specific way, emanating EP when you're giving a talk, when you're doing a live, when you're hosting a course, that is one way. And I think certainly for people who are service professionals, it's a lot easier to incorporate it. So like, let's say a coach, and you're working on something, and your client, a business coach, and you're trying to work on something, and you can see it. You know what the issue is. You can see how they can push through it. And it's not changing, right? EP is something that will help that, just because it's going to get to the root, and you don't need a whole lot of information. You're going to get to the root, and it allows for that alchemization to occur, and so that they can move forward. I think that's true, like with blocks and things like that, and there's just a lot of possibility with that. We have Jenny has put it into jewelry. She's put it into all of my design work, because she's done all my design work. So you can transmit EP into things, and it can hold the vibration. So video can hold the vibration. Just about anything that exists can hold the vibration. And so you can put the EP energy into that. So even if you're a tangible based product, you can put that. We're working on putting it into shirts. Is really kind of cool. I think that the biggest part of it, especially for Expansion Powerhouse, which is enrolling now, by the way, is that, it's the change in self, right? That's one of the coolest things, I think, and it's ever evolving. And so one of the things I hear in the very beginning, after the first attunement, all of my students without fail have all said, am I really doing it because it's so easy? So what's happening is that the very first day they don't feel that, but as the days start to go on, what happens is that their vibrational signature is starting to match the first attunement. And so there's not as much contrast, and they can't notice the difference as much. So there's this ease, right, that occurs. And I think that's a really neat way just to demonstrate of the changes that naturally and gently occur with someone. I have found definitely people who connect with the energy and are doing the work, just like anything, are having the best results for sure. But becoming attuned changes your life, period. All right, my dears. Hi, Megan. Yeah, you like that? Yep. Yeah, I love that. Okay, and so we are enrolling in both the expansion principle. We'll drop the links for all of the things. What else? I do private sessions and all that. A big part of my focus is working with practitioners for skill set enhancement, etc., but also doing the expansion principle. And so the expansion principle, we did it again. We're human again. The expansion powerhouse is by invitation. And so how that works is, if you're interested, we go ahead and get on a call together. We do an interview call, and we chat and see where you're at, and which one would be the best choice. And if you're interested in Powerhouse expansion, I want to know, like, why, like, what's drawing you, like, you know, what is your experience and all of that. And then, yeah, we'll kind of go from there and see where we fit in together to work together. What else do I want to talk about? I think that's it. I think I'm at my conclusion of my time. I would like to end with a transmission for everybody to experience. If you'd like to experience it, stay on. If you don't, then hop off. It will work even if you're watching the replay. And yeah, let's do this thing. So get into a nice comfortable position. Take a nice deep breath. Imagine a beautiful golden and pink light above your head. Gently coming down over the top of your head, down your face, the back of your head, your neck, your throat, across your shoulders and your arms, your hands, down your chest and your back, down each and every vertebrae, down your belly, down your low back, your pelvis, your hips, your butt, down your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, ankles, and feet. Nice deep breath. This beautiful golden and pink light is soaking into each and every cell of your body. It's allowing for anything that no longer serves it to gently fall away. It's allowing for an increased space and capacity for love and compassion. First and foremost, for compassion for yourself and for others. Nice deep breath. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much. Oh, that was beautiful. I enjoyed that one a lot. All right, my loves, I will post all of the the links. You can reach out to me just through I love messages, so I don't mind chatting. And then we'll put the link so you can see more information and enjoy the showcase. We have several of my wonderful, amazing sisters that are going to be talking to you over the course of the next couple of days. I know Women of Woo is currently in enrollment, which a lot of us are aware of. Women of Woo is amazing. I love Jasmine. I love the sisterhood. It's just a phenomenal experience. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Nicole. You're welcome. All right. I will see y'all later. Bye.